Fear is a common emotion experienced in the 3D matrix. It's a construct created to keep us in an invisible prison so we don't disrupt the system. Now the prison walls are crumbling, and it's our responsibility to release the fear that's been holding us back. Lindsay Andreotti helps inspire people here to help lead the restoration of our planet. According to Lindsay, most of our fears are simply a figment of our imagination. So Lindsay is back with us. And Lindsay, we're talking about letting go of fear, which is so important. And this is a program, right? We talk about this on the news all the time. Fear is a program. It is not from the creator or source or God.
Nope.
And so we need to let it go, but sometimes easier said than done.
So true. Oh my gosh. So when I was a kid, I absolutely hated scary movies. Friday the 13th came out. My friends made me go. I was terrified. Then I was in high school and I had a film class and the teacher made us watch Psycho. And I thought, I am literally going to die. My fear of this is so, my whole body freaks out until I finally figured out, probably in my 30s, after I had my children, fear is make-believe. It's just another version of a kooky story. I'm not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. No one is trying to hurt me, really. That fear is all imagined until it's like right in front of you, right? So there's two different kinds of fear. The fear that you just make up and you think something's happening and it's not. That one is the one you really have to learn how to put it down because you're making up stuff. You're actually imagining things that aren't happening. And it's your imagination that ultimately creates them too, which is why a movie like Friday the 13th gets created. It's someone's crazy imagination about a movie of something, crazy. So letting go of that kind of fear takes a little bit of reprogramming, a little bit of putting down that that something's happening. So take a moment. Take a deep breath and see if you can visualize a happy place or a happy outcome, something that you would prefer. So if you're having fear about, I'm going to lose my job, okay, that could be a very real thing that might be happening. No one knows for sure until it happens. But in the process of getting to that point, maybe take a minute and ask yourself, well, what would be my best outcome ever? What could I visualize that's not the worst case scenario, right? So that's a way to overcome the fear. It doesn't mean that the thing that you're worried about isn't going to happen, but I always say that worry is a prayer for something you don't want. So if you really want it to be different, it's time to start training your brain to look for the what's good or what's the best thing that can happen in this situation. Now, let's say you're truly in a circumstance that's terrifying. Jumping out of a perfectly good airplane is my version of terror.
I've done that before. I don't recommend it.
Okay. I have so many friends that are like, let's do that for your birthday. I'm like, no, not this year.
Like, no.
So no, it truly, I've made up in my head, not that I'm going to die, but I'm actually going to scream all the way down and never have a voice again. That's my worst case scenario, So, but there are things that are honestly very scary. Being in a dark place and feeling like you're being followed, having an experience of having someone invade your space or steal something from you. Those are all that's fearful stuff. In those moments, it's a noticing of your body. Are you in a panic phase? Are you panicking? Is something not functioning because you're in so much fear? In those moments, a good learning how to practice breathing through your nose, out through your mouth, practice breathing when you are literally panicking.
Yes.
It will calm your parasympathetic nervous system just enough that you can function through the fear. And, nobody wants to be in those kinds of circumstances. We don't ask for them, I don't think. It's not like we're writing it down and saying, please bring me this scary situation. And yet we find ourselves in places where it does feel a little bit frightening. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to look backwards into your memory banks about what is it that I'm supposed to remember in this situation? I'm being chased by a bear. Do I lay down? Do I, follow your intuition.
Yeah.
Your natural body and brain and mind all wants to work with your intuition just fine. It's geared for survival, and let it do its job. Try not to override. Just write it out.
Mhm,
So,
mhm. Yeah, I loved when you were talking about the fear of losing your job and then thinking about what's the best thing that could happen. I feel like that ties into manifestation too. And you can actually cause other things, good things to happen by
yep,
thinking, okay, well, I don't want this to happen. What do I want? And then you
correct.
focus on that, right? And you may find that you get, someone offers you an even better job. And maybe
Yep.
that wasn't even your intention, but you were just thinking positive thoughts and what could happen. Am I really happy in this job? Maybe something else is better for me. So I love how
Yep.
those are kind of connected.
And thank you for saying that, because usually the best thing that's about to happen to you is coming through the worst thing that you ever experienced. So that's
Mm,
normal. That is what I would
yeah.
say is a normal. So, yeah, be excited. Look for the what's good and then try to move past it as quickly as you can.
Yep.
Hmm.